Hey guys, hi. It is Brent Abel here, goldballhunting.com. Another episode in Jeff and my podcast. And I hope you're having a great day so far wherever you are. Actually, as I record this, it is Father's Day, June 16th, 2019, and I am in the car. I'm actually driving up Interstate 5, from Southern California. I was in the desert last night at Mize and My Mission Hills Country Club home. Spent the night there last night after losing the singles final yesterday at the National 70 Hard Courts in Irvine. And after losing the final around 2 or 3 o'clock, did not have the stomach to drive all the way up to Northern California to be able to hang out with my 3 daughters today for Father's Day, as I mentioned. So I headed over the desert yesterday afternoon, spent the night there, and left this morning. And so, hence the reason there is probably some automobile background noise you can hear. But I think it'll be okay. And I just want to say thanks, guys, for hanging out with me today. And I've got a thought in my mind that kind of this week at the National 65 and 70 Hard Courts in Irvine, really kind of, I didn't really talk to anyone about it, but it was just kind of a thought that was kind of just running through my mind just about every day, because there's so many players out there. You know, you got 2 age groups represented, and I don't know how many total players there were. I think there was I know there was a first round draw of 128 in the 65s, not 128 players, but call it 75 in the 70s. My group, we had the first round of 64, but again, not 64. Call it, I don't know, 50. So maybe there's 125 total players in the singles, and then lots of other guys who were just playing doubles in those 2 events. And the one thing that I sort of respect, out of so many of these guys is how much time they put into their game, and just like I do. And look, the player I really want to talk to with this message today are those of you guys and gals who are really the cliche, are you serious about getting better? Well, for those of you who are really putting in the time, and it could be daily, on the court, in the gym, in the kitchen, nutrition. I mean, you're doing everything right to be able to become a better tennis player. And I think one of the frustrating things I know that I've experienced, and I've talked to lots of the players, and I'm sure that there's some of you out there who are in that category of just really want to do everything you can to get better as a player, that it gets frustrating sometimes because we can't tangibly feel from day to day if in fact we are getting better. And I think what happens is the frustration can pretty quickly turn into, after a while, if you feel that you are kind of stuck on a plateau or at a level and you're just not making any progress. And if you've ever read the great little short book titled Mastery by George Leonard, I think written back in the 70s, one of the things that he talks about there is that the learning curve, there's lots of flatline plateaus where you're working like a dog day in, day out. You're in the gym, you're on the court, you're doing the kitchen right, and you just feel like after a while you're just not getting anywhere. And as George Leonard says, you really have to embrace those flatline plateaus, because what's about to happen, and I know it takes blind faith because it gets so frustrating, but what's about to happen is your game is about to take an upturn. And if you'll just hang in there long enough, doing the same things, doing the right things, I should say the right things. And look, all this is conditioned upon you having the right information to start, right? I mean, it's sort of like you got to know where you're at with your game right now. You got to really be able to be honest, brutally honest about where you're at in terms of the physical part, in terms of the stroke technique part, the mental part, the kitchen, the nutrition, all that stuff. You got to be honest with yourself about where you're at, and then where you want to go, right? And if where you want to go is someplace different than where you're at, then look, you're looking to get better. You're looking to improve, and to get back to having the right information to get from where you are to where you want to go. Man, you have got to have the right stuff. You've got to have the right information. You got to have the right model. You don't always have to have the right coach. I mean, or a coach, or an on-court instructor. It really helps, assuming that that they can deliver the right information based on your uniqueness as a player, and that could be because you're a senior player and you're not some young junior who's looking to make some damage in the junior tour or in college, or even taking the next level in terms of playing on the pro tour. But you've got someone who really understands that as a senior player, this is what reality is, and they've got to be able to dispense information to you based on what that reality is. And again, it's going to be totally different than juniors or someone who's a young adult who's looking to get in the tour. But the point or the message I want to make to you guys today, and again, this is for those of you who are really serious about getting better and working like a dog, and you're diligent and you're showing up every day. And that's really kind of the magic thing here is, are you showing up every day to do the work, whether it's in the gym, on the court, the mental stuff, and certainly doing all the right stuff in the kitchen. And if you are, then I guarantee you're going to have frustration because of those plateaus, right? Where you just feel like, come on, man. I mean, when is this going to get better? And so I think that the key to that, or I should say, I think that the answer to that question is, when am I finally going to get better? Is when you stop trying to measure day in and day out how you're doing. And that used to be my big bugaboo, especially before tournaments. I would really go out there a week or two, and I'd know, all right, this tournament's coming up in, a couple of weekends or a couple of weeks or a week or whatever it is. How am I playing? How am I doing? And every time I tried to measure that skill level, man, the frustration was just relentless, because I don't know why, other than I just maybe kind of was panicking that, I got a big event coming up, whether it's, a tournament or something else, but, I got to make sure I'm playing well, and I've been putting in the time. And the more I tried to measure where I was at, the worse I played. So what I discovered over time was that if I would stop measuring it and just trust the process, the day-to-day process, and if I've got the right information and I'm showing up every day doing the right stuff, it has to happen. I have to get better at some point. And that some point is really a little bit out of our control. You can't totally control. You just can't control and just say, well, by next Tuesday, I'm gonna have this slice backhand, underspin backhand. You just can't say when it's going to show up. So trust your process. Assuming you get the right information, trust your process, and make sure the process is based on you showing up every day. And I'm not saying that you got to get out in the court every day. I'm not saying you got to get in the gym every day, but you've got to be doing something. And some days may be a day of active rest. That's not really an oxymoron, active rest. It is really a day where you're not pounding yourself on the court, or you're not pounding yourself in the gym, and you're letting yourself heal. Could be that it's some stretching, could be it's some yoga, could be it's a light walk, a hike. It certainly is not where you're just kind of, couch surfing, for a day or two. So if you're going through that frustration of showing up every day and knowing that you're doing the right stuff, but you're not feeling any improvement, hang in there. It's going to come. Just show up tomorrow and do the right thing tomorrow. So guys, listen, hope this has helped today. Again, thanks so much for hanging out with me. A couple things before we end this monologue episode of the Gold Ball Hunting Podcast is a free 10-minute private coaching call with me and Jeff. It's a telephone call. We don't record it. And it's just the three of us on the phone, and it's free, 10 minutes, it's private, and all you got to do is bring one thing to that 10-minute call that really is kind of like that big domino in your game that you just can't figure out, or maybe you and your coach can't figure it out. And it could be the big domino in terms of if you can knock that thing down, you know what? A lot of the other little minor things might get knocked down as well. The way to get on the call, go over to goldballhunting.com, drop in your first name and email address, click the button, and you'll get access to our online calendar scheduler where you can cherry pick a date and time that works best for you. At the end of every one of these episodes, Jeff chimes in with 4 things. Right now I can only remember 3 of them. Maybe the 4th one will come to me. Who knows? But number 1, we want you to like us. So whether you're on YouTube or you're listening to us on iTunes, maybe some other platform, man, please just whatever like or share button they've got, we would really appreciate it because it would help us extend our reach to more tennis players, which is really our ultimate goal, to help as many competitive players as we possibly can. Number 2 is to subscribe, again, YouTube, or maybe it's one of the audio platforms. So please subscribe to our podcast so you get notified anytime that we publish, every day, when we publish a new episode. And that does help us with that platform's search as well. We would love for you to leave a comment below. And I told you, I can't remember the 4th thing that Jeff says every time. So whatever it is, you'll hear it tomorrow. All right, guys, listen, get out there today. Help someone else have a spectacular day. And I know that Jeff and I will do this again tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out.